Welcome back, everyone. So today's guests are Tommy Ramdhan, British sprint champion and coach, and Fatima Rashid, a remarkable transplant athlete. Now, together, they've trained for the 2025 World Transplant Games, overcoming incredible challenges and bringing home medals. Now, it's a really inspiring story of determination and teamwork. Guys, it's so lovely to have you here today. How are you guys feeling? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's amazing to be here. Thank you for having us. It's good to be here and celebrate Fatima and Omar's success at the World Transplant Games. It's been amazing to coach them on their journey, albeit a short journey. People think, albeit they've got gold medals, that they've been here for a long time sprinting, but they haven't. It's been a very short journey. They've only been training for 3 to 4 months, and they've come out with 2 gold medals, which has been amazing.
Now, just to get started, I want to ask, how did you two first start working together?
It was through Omar, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, Omar hunted you down, to be more precise.
He did.
And I was like, Omar, you take the pick and I'll just tag along. I just needed someone to train with in the Dubai summer, you know.
Yeah.
And and I think it's been the best torture session because I can definitely say without Tommy's assistance and detailed guidance, we wouldn't be able to bring home the shines.
Lovely to see the shine, by the way. I'm sure everyone else would also love to see it.
Oh, okay.
Guys, these are her medals right here.
Get that right. That's
What an absolute flex. You should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you. I am proud. It has actually been an honor to be able to walk this journey, having been to the World Transplant Games for the very first time, representing UAE, and being able to showcase to other patients who are waiting for a transplant and for other people who have just received a transplant, that you don't just have to exist. You can definitely persevere and be the best version of yourself.
I believe that was your inspiration to take part in the games as well.
Oh, absolutely. I had my surgery and I had my eyes on the World Transplant Games right away, but I do have a previous history of training and doing CrossFit, so it's something I'm passionate about.
But just moving to the next question, so this was the UAE's first ever participation in the World Transplant Games. You know, how did it feel not to only just represent the country, but really set the bar so high?
Yeah, look, it's a brand new thing for the UAE. It's been going on for a while, the World Transplant Games, but it's amazing, albeit it's a small team, but hopefully we've got that awareness out there. We've spread the word that there is a team, and it's every 2 years, am I right?
Yes,
every 2 years.
Every
so
2 years.
It's not like the Olympics or World Championships at the highest level where it's every 4 years, or the Olympics every 4 years, but World Championships every 2 years. So there's a lot more opportunities there. The next goal for us really is to have a GCC Middle East Games as well. So we just want to spread it in the Middle East. Hopefully host that in Dubai as well, so we get a lot more awareness. Hopefully get more countries in the Middle East competing as well, because there's hardly any at the moment. So it's great for the UAE to get involved in that and then try and get more success and more medals in the future World Transplant Games.
Definitely. So Fatima, most people just complain about leg day actually, but you went straight from transplant to training. So how was the training like?
Like Tommy said, we technically started training for the games in May. So come Dubai summer, and me and Omar are on the tracks getting tortured by Tommy. But prior to that, I was already training on a regular basis. I mean, as a transplant patient, we have to take care of ourselves through many means, through diet, through medication, and of course an active lifestyle. But I think in today's day and age, everyone needs to pretty much omit the medication and do an active lifestyle. The preparation was physical as well as mental. It was quite arduous. I felt ill during my training session, and there was a lot of FOMO out there that I am losing out on training time. So I used that to just prepare myself mentally to just give it my best. And
Yeah, for something as big as this, normally it takes athletes 8 to 9, 10 months, or people have had a history before. But for Omar and Fatima, they've not had much time at all. So I've really had to change the program in 3 to 4 months. Okay, how can we get the best out of them in 3 to 4 months? Because it takes a lot longer than that to train and get the success and get the results and see improvements.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we've really had to cram things in the program. But they've both just got on with it. And again, it's not all about the training. There's recovery, there's nutrition, and there's sleep and everything else that comes with it. So they've been really on top of that. And again, yeah, Fatima was ill for a little bit of that. So that was probably about a month. We lost from that. So
it
really,
felt
about,
long.
it's about 2.5, 3 months. Really, we've got some good work in. So, but that aside, they've done amazing, and look, they've come out with 2 gold medals, both of them. So it's been great.
Tommy is unforgiving, right? He puts you on this regiment, and he asks you to take care. I was in fact jokingly saying, I didn't know I had such a young father, you know. But it's amazing because we're at the games and there's still drama unfolding. I had a sprained ankle, and Tommy's like, okay, put it up, do this, do that, you know. And
it would have been really challenging though. I mean, you had like less than half of the time normally athletes take for training and, you know, appearing there. But
I think something I want to ask for, there's something that you said that really stood out to me, by the way, how like you recommend that a lot of people omit the medication and stay fit. What do you mean by that? Can you go into that?
Well, I guess if you allow your body to move the way it was meant to move, you typically do not fall sick, you know, and all kinds of predispositions that you tend to have, you can change them. And everyone says, yeah, my parents have it and therefore I have it. That's not necessarily true. You can change your capacity to be a healthier person just through movement. And basically that's what I'm suggesting, that people should exercise or move or pick up something they love, which is other than reading a book. You know?
Wow, I think that's so true, and it's so important to change that narrative. I feel like a lot of us got into this like headset of like, you know, working out is making you more tired or something, because some people still have that mindset. Like whenever I go on a run, my mom is like, you're gonna get sick, come back into the house, and I'm like, Mom, I need to work out to stay fit. But just speaking of like more of those challenges that you guys went through together in the summer, was there anything else that you guys had to overcome together?
Apart from the hard sessions, you know, dragging these 2 off the floor in between the reps, that was hard enough. So, you know, my background with what I've achieved and as a coach now, I know what it's like at that top level. So I'm just trying to teach them both, you know, this is the way of training and how things are done. Sometimes they're like, no, that's too much. I'm like, no, we need to get the reps in, we need to get the sessions in, and they're on the floor, you know, pretty much just, they're like, please, no, we're done. I'm like, no, come on, we've got one more rep. But in terms of overcoming things, it was just them getting on the start line, I think. It's a brand new experience for them both. So them just being there, I didn't want them to just go there and just take it all in. I wanted them to go there and compete. I didn't want them to go there and just fill a lane, for example. And so I wanted them to go there, compete, and get something out of it. And the first aim was just to get to the final. You know, you got the heats. So they got to the final. Once we got there, that was the first tick done. The second job was, okay, just execute your run. Forget about the medals. Forget about the time. Just do what we've done in training, and you'll get the medals. And that's exactly what happened. So
that's exactly what we did. We just focus on our own performance, you know, not get carried away by all the amazing athletes that stand shoulder to shoulder at the start line. You just have to forget about them, and you just have to think about yourself.
I'm so curious, by the way, how long were these sessions that you guys had to do?
So we train 3 times a week on the track, sometimes 4, but 3 times a week. But they would take about 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours, the sessions, because there's a lot of drills that we go through. A lot of people think with the sprints, just like most sports, but in the 100 meters specifically, you're running 0 to 100 in a straight line, but there's much more to it than that. It's very, very technical. You know, to get that time down, it's so technical, and there's a lot that goes into it, and they've both found that out. They're both new to the sport in terms of the drills. I wish I could show you a video of these 2 doing drills.
We have to see it.
I'd have to send it in, but the first week, I'm sure they were looking back and thinking,
that was...
why was I doing that? Why was I moving that way? So and that's what I like about sprinting. It doesn't just apply to the 100 meters. You know, footballers need speed, rugby players need speed. So a lot of athletes need it. But they very soon found out that it's very technical, the event, in terms of coming out the blocks, the in-flight running and things like that. So there's a lot to break down in the 100 meters. And the 200's another event that you have to really break down. So yeah, no, it's been good to see their progress.
I'd just say thanks to you, we really can deconstruct a race and we can self-evaluate as well where we really went wrong or where there is scope for improvement. And I didn't have any of that knowledge, clearly, before we came to the tracks.
Yeah, I was constantly sending them like a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint, screenshotting pictures of them and saying this is how you should move, comparing it to like elite athletes or anyone else, and just so they can see it visually as well. It's one thing me saying it, but for them to actually see it, they were like, okay, that's what I need to do. And then they got to feel it in training as well. So you can see it and then you've got to feel it and actually do it. And there's one thing doing it, they were doing it in training, showing glimpses, but it's about doing it consistently. That's where you want to do it, because they can get to a race and then run exactly how they did in day one, week one. But we're like 3 months down the line now, so you ideally want to see those improvements in the training filter through to the races as well. So yeah, no, it's been amazing. We trained at Universal American School as well, which has been amazing to have the facility there. That's where I currently work as well, so it's been amazing to use that facility, get the hard work in, so it's been great.
That's great. Just to get like a very rough idea, the question just popped up in my head. So like, do we know the the timings at like the timeout that you used to do earlier, like initially when you started and you made the run, at what point did you time out, and then now like how fast are you running? Do we have an idea on those?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, you can chime in on that, Tommy.
Yeah, it's definitely a big comparison in time. We've seen loads of improvements, right? Not just from a time perspective, but the way they're moving. So, yeah, time-wise, they've probably knocked off a few seconds, definitely, from when they first started. Again, because they were new to the sport, I didn't want them running 100%. I wanted to see how they moved first, what they look like, what they already know. I didn't want any injuries and things like that. So, again, that can set us back 3 weeks. Any sort of niggle or injury.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
I mean, for people of my age, I'm sorry, that's longer than 3 weeks.
Yeah, and we didn't have time to have any sort of issues or problems, which is why I was so onto them about recovery and things like that, because we only had 3 months.
Yeah.
We haven't got time to miss 1, 2 or 3 sessions at all. But yeah, no, the improvements was massive from week one all the way up to when they raced, and they both ran a personal best at the competition, and that's what we want. We want them to run at their best, firstly, and get the medals. So, and that's both jobs done.
And just like to get into those topics of those medals, how did you feel, Fatima, standing on that podium with your medals? Like, what was going through your mind?
It was a very surreal experience.
Yeah.
I won UAE's first gold medal, and I was standing there not knowing how to feel about it, because there was so much adrenaline running through you, you know, and you're just trying to cope with your environment at that point in time. And I happened to have the final 100 meters that very evening. So my mind was so distracted. I was like, okay, I've done one thing. Now I have to go for the next thing, and I need to give it my best, and I need to put my foot up, and I need to rest. So there were a myriad of things going on, because it's not over till you've finished off all your events, and then you can actually start enjoying the fruits of your labor. So, but for that very second, it was, everyone around me was so much more excited than I was. That was the truth. It was like, oh my God, you won the first gold. And I was like,
UAE's first ever gold.
I was like, I did, didn't I? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. But I don't know. It must be my age that things just take time to settle, yeah?
So, I remember how you mentioned your training was, both physical, mental. It was very tiring also, I'm sure. Was there a time when you had like a really bad mental block that you had to, smash through and, move past?
Okay, so just before I boarded the plane, I suffered an ankle sprain. And when I landed in Dresden, we did a sprint session, and I realized that this one's gotten worse. The pain really starts showing up when I start sprinting. I had that band-aided by the doctors over there, and he said, you got to ice it and keep it elevated. I think at that point I was really exhausted with all of this drama that was happening. It was just like, I could have done without the ankle sprain, honestly. And that's when I started realizing that I have to be confident in this body. That's it. This is what I've got to work with. I have no other alternative. And I cannot will this away. And that was a bit of hard work, but I didn't feel like I had a breakdown. I just had to work harder. That's about it. So, yeah.
And, just to go more into the training aspect of it, Tommy, how did you specifically tailor Fatima's training to fit her transplant and still get her sprint ready? Was there more technical stuff that went into that specifically had to do with her?
Yeah, there's, especially with both of them as well, with Omar and Fatima that I was training, albeit they're very similar with their transplants, they are individual people. So I had to figure out them as a person first. Which is why some of the sessions, the first session we did actually was a very tough session, but the reason I did that is because I wanted to see where they're at, fitness levels, what they could take, and we did have to change the sessions slightly for both of them for various different reasons or issues or anything that was going on. But there wasn't too much that I had to change. For them, it was more, okay, I know they've been training already, they've both done some sort of fitness work and things like that, that's great. It was more the technical work that we had to figure out, and they're both very different in the way they move.
Oh, yeah.
So I just had to make sure that I looked at them and we focused a bit more on the technical side because, again, they've done running before, they know how to run, but let's work on how they move first. So that was the priority, I think, in terms of the training. Once we got that and we were getting consistent at doing the right things, then we could move on to the load of the training, which is a bit more of the running and things like that, because when you're tired, okay, that's when you start getting into your bad habits. And it's more about consistently doing the right things when you're tired. That's when you see the improvements. So then when it comes to racing, naturally, you just got it. That's where you want to be. So it was, that first session was a wake-up call, I think, for both of them. I think they both questioned, should we be doing
Life's choices, that's what we were doing
so,
there.
I like to call it like a little torture session just to see what they've got. And it shows me that what we need to work on.
His name is not Tommy, it's Torture
It's
Tommy.
Torture Tommy, yeah. That's what a lot of people call me. So, like I said, I've had worse names in the past, so I'll take that one. So, no, but it's been amazing to see their journey. It's been great. So, and it's even more. It's the first time I've seen the medals, actually. So, they've not long both come back. I think after the games, they both had a little mini holiday, a little break. So, it's the first time I've seen Fatima since the games. So they've both been resting, and it's nice to actually see the medals. So it's great.
So both of you guys, you've been through a really long, fulfilling journey. So I would like to ask you, what's one lesson that each one of you have, taken from each other that has changed the way you see life?
Oh.
Yeah, you go first on that one.
What's one thing that's changed? It's the first time I've ever worked with a transplant athlete, for one. So it was good for me to actually just see the difference in load of the training. And to be honest, it's not that much different, if I'm being honest. But it's just a different mindset. I think for me, it's the mindset. Knowing what they've both been through, that's the biggest thing for me. Knowing what they've gone through with the transplant. When I look at other athletes now and they're like, oh, coach, it's too tough, that haven't had a transplant. I'm like, I'll just use these two as an example and say, look, they've been through a lot worse and look what they're doing. So I think the biggest thing for me that I've noticed is the mindset of Omar and Fatima. It's been amazing to see how they've just come through anything and battled through anything. And that's not just from the sessions itself, that's just in life. So it's great to see and great to work with these two athletes in that sense. But yeah, definitely the mindset for me has been the biggest thing that I've noticed and how strong they are. Yourself?
Well, sorry, the question was more regarding with Tommy, or was it in general through this entire experience? Firstly, I realized that this sprinting is not just sprinting. It is definitely a mind game. I have sprinted in the past, but it felt nothing like that at this point in my life. And when I went to Dresden and I saw all the other transplant patients come together, and compete and rejoice life. I mean, I ran with a heart transplant patient. It was such an honor to have such a worthy opponent, you know. It just goes to show the miracle that the mind can be, you know, after having pursued such a difficult, you know, life. So I was completely blown away. And I went there to compete, and I had an amazing time, but I think it was the spirit of all the people out there, you know. I mean, it was unlike anything I'd ever seen. Never been surrounded by thousands and thousands of transplant patients, you know, who look like absolutely normal people, but just with scars on their bodies, you know. So it was very humbling. It made my journey look super easy. So.
Yeah, and albeit it's a competition and everyone's striving for gold and for medals, it's also a celebration as well,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
You know, when you're there with everyone that's been through the same journey as you, it's definitely a celebration.
Oh,
and,
totally.
Well, in the moment, you're like, no, I want to win. But afterwards, it is, you know,
yeah,
get together
yeah.
and albeit they're competitors, you'll speak to them afterwards once it's all done because, you know, you've worked hard for this. So you don't want to get there and just be like, oh, you know, and socialise too much. You know, it drains your energy. Let's go there and compete. And then you'll have the fun afterwards. But yeah, it's definitely a celebration for everyone to come together and realise what they've, the gift that they've all got.
Wow, guys, that was really beautiful. You gave me goosebumps there, Fatima. For the last question, you know, I know that a lot of athletes are looking up to you guys right now. What would be your like key core message for them? Like, what advice would you have for young people, for aspiring athletes to do what you've done?
For me, the message is to just, I suppose, do what you love, because the minute you don't enjoy it, you wouldn't put the hard work in.
Yeah.
You know, if they didn't enjoy athletics and didn't, or sprinting in this sense, they wouldn't turn up to training and they wouldn't turn up on time. They wouldn't do all the other things outside, which is what I've already said about the sleep, nutrition, and things like that. I think the minute you don't enjoy something, you just don't put your all into it. So really find what you love and really go for that. I see that in my current job at the moment. I work as head of high performance at Universal American School for Alpha Tame, and I see that with all the kids. The minute they love something, they're all in. So, and I can see with the kids that don't enjoy it, they're just, you know, they're just there, they're not really taking part. So when I say to them, look, what do you enjoy? What do you love doing? Oh, I love football, I love basketball, rugby, whatever that is. We'll go and do that. You know, just because your friends are there, go and make some new friends. So just do what you love and do what you enjoy. Is the message that I would say, because you will put your all into it and once you enjoy it.
And I was like, okay, how do I cover something? Because you've covered everything, Tommy. But yes, he's right. You've got to enjoy what you do. And, you know, I've said this once before, but in a different context, but it seems to apply. Find something you love and die trying to do your best in it, you know.
We had
I
just
totally
started
agree
the
with
day
you.
actually with that idea, the joke.
Yeah, and in the beginning of the show, it's like there's this podcast clip that's trending, guys. It's like, don't love your job your love. And I was telling her about it, but honestly, I do think it's so true. It was so lovely having you guys
Thank you very
today,
much.
hearing your story. It's truly
Thank
so
you.
special. Thank you so much for tuning, everyone. This is Coach Torture Tommy and Fatima. Thank you for tuning in,
Fatima.
and have a lovely day.
Thank you.